Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to the Mental Wellness Wake Up Show, a weekly podcast where growth minded, creative people come to learn best practices from both spirituality and psychology that create lasting well being. I am your host, mental wellness expert, improvised acting teacher, therapist, and coach, Dawn McMillan. Let's get to it. Hello. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Welcome back. If you're a returning listener, I value you so much. Your time is precious, and I love that you are spending it here with me. It is an honor and a privilege to be in your company, so thank you. And if you're here for the first time, yay! Thanks for coming around. So we are in the midst of an Enneagram series. Enneagram is a wisdom system with 9 primary points and is normally used as a personality typing system. So if you're here for the first time, go ahead and hop on back, catch up with us. We are now on Enneagram 3, which shockingly is not the third one because we actually started elsewhere on the cycle. So let's jump right in. And for those of you who are leaving, come on back and join us on Enneagram 3. So as you'll recall, the Enneagram is a circle with 9 points on it that are interrelated by lines. And the Enneagrams 2, 3, and 4 are clustered together in what we call the heart center, the emotional center. These are people who are motivated by and kind of lead with how they feel, not like that sort of gut body feeling, but more like that emotional feeling. So what does that mean for our Enneagram 3s? So what do we call the Enneagram 3s? Oh, and I will be shuffling papers around and my keyboard. I have a cool gamer keyboard because I'm cool like that. I am not cool. So what do we call the Enneagrams? Enneagram 3 are the achiever, the motivator, the role model, the paragon, the communicator, the status seeker, the best. If the Enneagram 3 was a country, it would be the United States. When I think of the Enneagram 3, I'm thinking about someone like Tony Robbins. I'm thinking about that personal trainer, that inspirational speaker, that person who really has that, I don't know, like you would, that leadership thing where you're like, I will follow you. So 3s at their best are optimistic, confident, industrious, efficient, self-propelled, energetic, practical. Shadow side, because everybody's got one. 3s at their worst are deceptive, narcissistic, pretentious, vain, superficial, vindictive, overly competitive. 3s are motivated by the need to be productive, achieve success, and avoid failure, and avoid failure, and avoid failure. So 3s are very much interested not just in being successful, but being perceived as successful. They like for their success to show. So let's talk a little bit more about the Enneagram 3. So the 3's basic fear is of being worthless without value, being worthless or without value apart from their achievements. So remember we said that 2s, 3s, and 4s are the feeling center, and they can be seen as being characterized by their relationship to shame. So the way that 3s deal with that secret fear that they're worthless or unlovable in some way is to achieve. You can imagine the people who were raised in an environment where they only got validated by their environment for being really good at sports or getting good grades or being pretty, or, it's their achievements are what matter, not who they are as a person. So I don't want to get too much into how people become the way that they are, because honestly, the answer really is just because. It's nature, it's nurture, it's biological, it's social, it's psychological. But so the basic fear behind the personality type of 3 is of being worthless and people not valuing them for anything other than their achievements. The basic desire is to feel worthwhile, accepted, and desirable. And what's not listed in this Riso Hudson little blurb is to feel worthwhile, accepted, and desirable for who they are, not for what they have accomplished. Their super ego message: you are good or okay as long as you are successful and others think well of you. So you can see the trap there. You can see the trap there, because as long as others think well of you. So for a 3 who's, in the midst of this personality type, of this archetype, it's not enough to be successful. That success has to be known. Other people also have to think well of you. And so a 3 is going to be drawn to a high prestige careers. The 3s are not the kind to work quietly behind the scenes changing the world. They're going to be out front changing the world. So let's take a look at some levels of 3 so we can know how this might operate in our friends, loved ones, and in ourselves. Okay. So Enneagram is just all kinds of groups of 3. 3 groups of 3 in any number of ways. It's insane. All the ways you can divide the Enneagram up into 3s. So 9 levels of the 9 types. So level 9, a very unhealthy Enneagram 3, is going to be monomaniacal, relentless. Mono meaning one. So unhealthy 3s feel that there is nothing they can do to win the positive attention of the people whose approval they need, and may lose control of their repressed hostility and rage. They may seek revenge on real or imagined tormentors, attempting to bring down whoever they feel has rejected them. So this is someone who's given up hope. They desperately want approval, but they don't think there's anything that they can do to get it. So they can be very dangerous. Level 8. So we're getting a little bit healthier. On level 8, Enneagram 3 may present as duplicitous. That means they lie. And opportunistic. So unhealthy 3s have become so desperate for attention that they will concoct any story or scheme in order to cover over their deterioration. They do not want anyone to know how troubled they are, and are willing to go to great lengths to keep their emotional illness and misdeeds hidden. They're willing to go to great lengths to keep their emotional illness and or misdeeds hidden. Remember the whole Enron scandal where people were lying and cheating? That you can think of that as sort of a level 8 Enneagram 3 type behavior. Okay, level 7, getting a little healthier. At this level, the Enneagram 3 is going to present as unprincipled and deceptive. 3s fear that they are failing and that their claims may be empty and fraudulent, which may be true. To save their self-image, they begin to deceive themselves and others, saying whatever will impress people or get them off the hook. Inside, they feel empty and depressed. So it's a little bit like that Enneagram 2 people-pleasing instinct or impulse, but rather that where that Enneagram 2 people-pleasing is to be liked, this is to be impressive. They want people to be impressed by them. So then we move up into sort of average. So, the last 3 levels are people who are really disturbed, really traumatized, really hurting. And then we get to sort of your average person who's, making it through life all right. So level 6, Enneagram 3 is going to be self-promoting and grandiose. 3s are afraid that others will not notice them unless they are hugely successful or outstanding. Thus, they try to convince themselves and others of the reality of their grandiose claims. They are self-promoting, competitive, and arrogant, as a defense against secret neediness. Grandiose. Grandiose. Are you hearing narcissistic characteristics? Yes, you are. Sidebar, stop calling everyone a narcissist. There are all kinds of ways to be self-centered without being a narcissist. Narcissistic personality disorder is actually very rare. Okay, and a sidebar. Okay, so that's a level 6, self-promoting, grandiose. Moving up a little bit in our average level 3 to a level 5, this person's going to present as image conscious and expedient. 3s worry that they will lose the positive regard of others, so they wish to impress people. They strive to cultivate what they believe will be the most attractive image possible. Ambitious but self-doubting, they want to be admired and desired. They typically have intimacy problems. So Enneagram 3s in general, they're going to show their success. They're going to show that they've got it going on. So you can imagine someone who spends a little at this level, who spends a little bit extra on the sports car or the luxury model of the car because they want people that even drive by them to be impressed by them, to know that they are successful. And they're really ambitious. They work hard, but secretly they're doubting themselves. So when we move up a little bit in our emotional health, level 4, success-oriented and performing. So 3s begin to fear that they will be overshadowed by the accomplishments of others, that their efforts will not bring them the attention they desire. So you hear that little edge of competitiveness? So thus, they need to distinguish themselves from others by overachieving. They continually drive themselves to achieve more. So right now, I'm thinking about the characterization of Alexander Hamilton in the musical Hamilton, right? They describe him as relentless, never stopping, nonstop. So in order to make sure that they are as successful as they're supposed to be, they just overwork. They overstrive. They continually drive themselves to achieve more. This is the person with, I don't know, the Nobel Prize and a Booker Award and a MacArthur Genius Grant and gosh only knows what else, right? So these are striving McStriverstons. Okay, so let's move up a little bit to the healthier expression of this level 3 archetype. So level 3, Enneagram 3, goal-oriented self-improving. 3s reinforce their self-image by developing themselves and their talents. They are competent, confident, and persistent, becoming exemplary in whatever they do. Effective communicators, they are often popular role models and inspirations to others. So these, at this level, people are a little healthier. They're not driven. They're not continually driven, but they do continually work to improve themselves and to develop their talents, right? They're practicing their instrument every day. They're effective communicators. These are the people in your organization or in your friend group where you're just like, that person's really got it going on. And a healthy level 3, they really got it going on. They really are using their talents in a way that is visible to others. So they're competent, confident, and persistent. Moving up, a level 2. At this level, an Enneagram 3 is going to present as adaptable and admirable. 3s are attuned to what others value and adapt themselves to become a person who would be more valuable. Self-image. I am outstanding, capable, and well-adjusted with unlimited potential. So here's 3s can be a little chameleon-like, right? Because 3s are often the kind of people who are good at a lot of things. And because they value being that perception of success, like they really appreciate being admired, they may lean into those particular talents of theirs that are the most valued. You think about someone who is equally good at football and baseball. They might lean into their football career because it's higher status. Is that true? I guess it depends on where you hang out. But you know what I'm saying, right? So they may be equally good at creative writing and biology. And depending on their family of origin, they may lean into the biology because their family likes the sciences more. something like that. And a level 1, so a highly emotionally healthy, well-integrated Enneagram 3, you're going to see them as inner directed and authentic. So these threes, this archetype of the 3, they let go of the belief that their value is dependent on the positive regard of others, thus freeing them to discover their true identity and their own heart's desire. So while all Enneagrams really get some juice out of being admired by other people, like it really is like a vital nutrient to them. It's like a vitamin. It really feeds them. When a 3 gets very well nourished and well evolved and well integrated, they know, they appreciate it. They still love the admiration, but they know that their value is not, that is not their value. The positive regard of others does not determine their value. So they get their basic desire achieved. They feel valuable and worthwhile, but they're not needing it from other people, if that makes sense. So they become self-accepting, genuine, and benevolent. So if you know, like these high achievers, you probably know an Enneagram 3 because they're so high achieving, right? Enneagram 3s, they're like they're at the top of the grade. They're out there doing the thing very, very visibly. They have TED Talks, right? They're out there. You see them, you see their success. They're well dressed. They're well dressed. They're well groomed. They're well put together. They got the nice car. They've got all the letters after their name. You know, I have one friend that I tease like about all the letters she has after her name, and she's like, "That's not even all of them." So you know, Enneagram 3s are noticeable, and when you're around an Enneagram 3, there's just that they just have this inner fire that makes you like think, "Oh, I can get out there and do stuff." Right? When they're on stage, when they're that inspirational speaker, like, you know, you're like, ooh, rah, afterwards. Like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make stuff happen. Super inspiring. Super inspiring. And when you get a really well integrated Enneagram 3, they're so comfortable in their own skin, right? Like, so they're just sort of casually wandering around in their designer clothes in their mansions. If that's the level of the type of success that they're choosing, they might be wandering around in their monk's robes in their sanctuary or whatever personal type of achievement they're at the, you get it. I'm going to stop giving examples. And when you're around them, they're so just like admirable. They're so admirable that you catch that fire a little bit and you're like, I can achieve things. I want to achieve things. I can achieve things. That seems cool. That seems possible. So our Enneagram 3s, like I said, every group needs at least one of every kind of person. So your Enneagram 3 is going to get things done and look good while they're doing it. Like the image that just came to me is like, you know, that ballet dancer who's like standing on one leg and point, and her other leg is pointing straight at the sky, and she just stands there perfectly still for like 5 minutes and makes it look effortless and graceful and easy. That's an Enneagram 3. They look good, they're doing well, and they inspire you to do the same. So if you have an Enneagram 3 in your life, model them. How are they doing what they do? Because they have figured out how to fit into a niche in a way that is highly valuable. So they're people to model. 3s at their best are optimistic, confident, industrious, efficient, self-propelled, right? You know how all those job offers are like, wanted, self-starter, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about that Enneagram 3 vibe. They are self-propelled, energetic, and practical. So one of the things that Enneagram 3s really need to watch out for, give yourself a break. It's okay to not be the best at everything. And actually, it's okay not to be the best at anything. Like, for real. It's okay not to be the best. It's okay not to be the best. It's okay to not drive yourself all the time. You don't have to impress people all the time. You get to enjoy being you. You get to enjoy being you. So maybe lighten up a little bit. Lighten up. Be kind to yourself. Lean into that authenticity. If you are leaning into your authenticity, you will do it better than everyone else. Because if you're an Enneagram 3, you do everything better than everyone else. But yeah, just lighten up. It's okay not to be the best. You don't have to be the best at everything. Because you know what? If you can be vulnerable, if you can give yourself grace, you'll be surprised at how many people think you're amazing, even when you're not perfect, even when you're not the best, right? You can. You can. And don't cheat to make it look good when you're not actually the best. That's another danger for Enneagram 3s. So for the rest of us, how can we appreciate the Enneagram 3s in our lives, right? Because they're out there making it look good. And they may be so good at making it look good that you have no idea how hard they're working. So if you have someone who's a striver and a pusher and a grinder, maybe the gift you can give them is letting them know that your appreciation of them is not about that. Your appreciation is not about the car or the award or the whatever else it is that they're doing to mark their achievement. You can let them know how much you appreciate them for, I don't know, their sense of humor or the great hugs they give or whatever other values that they have. And then for those of us who aren't Enneagram 3s, how can we get that inspirational vibe going? How can we be just a little bit more self-propelled? How can we be a little bit more industrious? How can we be a little more confident and a little more optimistic? How can we bother? Don't bother people, or do. It's up to you. You're autonomous. How can we borrow that Enneagram 3 archetype to go out there and do the thing? Go do the thing. Go do the thing. Go do the thing your heart is calling you to do. Bonus points if, like an Enneagram 3, you can make it look good. But the more important thing is to go do the thing. And know, like Enneagram 3s, when you get out there and you do the thing, you are quietly, or maybe not so quietly, inspiring someone else to do the thing too. And if you're an Enneagram 3, we see you. We see you. We see you, and we think you're awesome. You know who else is awesome? The rest of us. Because if there's one thing I hope you're taking away from this series, is just how everyone has these beautiful gifts to give to each other. And that when we're all in our center, when we're all deeply in our gifts, we create this beautiful spectrum of perspectives and personality strengths that create this gorgeous whole. And then as we ourselves integrate all of these different types into ourselves, we become the center of the circle, able to borrow from, lean into, and express all of these different facets of ourselves as the moment requires, while still being totally, truly authentic to ourselves. And if you're like me, that sounds beautiful, really beautiful. I have good news, by the way. You are already beautiful. Wherever you find yourself on the Enneagram, wherever you find yourself on the emotional scale of maturity, you are whole, perfect, and complete. That's who you truly are. That's who you truly are. When I read your Enneagram type, I'm like, I really integrated Enneagram type, blah, blah, blah. That's the tip of the iceberg of who you truly are. And you, right here, right now, yesterday and tomorrow, you are worthy and deserving of so much peace, so much fulfillment, so much enjoyment, so much freedom, so much love, and so much safety that your mind can't even begin to imagine. All right. I'm giving you a hug. Yeah. Do you feel that? Did you feel that? That was me giving you a hug. All right. Until next time. I am so honored that you share time with me. If you've listened this far, then something here was of value to you. Would you please be a friend of the podcast and share it with at least one other person? The podcast is available on most platforms, including YouTube, and I need your help to get the word out. So please like, subscribe, and share, and a 5-star review on iTunes would be chef's kiss. Thank you so much. See you next time.